am. No offense to her, but this is just a fact. Now, the second big revelation, which I thought the Democratic Party would have learned from by now. Remember I said we're going to go back to this? I want to go back to it. Gwen Graham is the only woman in the race, which could be a factor with the women voters representing 58% of the Democratic electorate in 2016 presidential primary. Then at the debate between the four of them, Gwen Graham says, I might look a little bit, you might notice I look a little bit different. I look a little bit different than everybody else up here. I'm a mom. I'm in the PTA. I'm a school public official. And I am a woman with unique qualities that she's running in the age of women during the Me Too movement. Listen, people, I don't know how to put this in a nice way because it's probably going to offend more than one demographic. But I'm just speaking from a strategic perspective once again, because this is what I do. This is what this is the facts, and the facts a lot of the times don't care about how you feel about them. You notice how Andrew Gillum didn't mention that he was a black male once? I don't know if y'all caught that. He talks about coming from poverty. But Andrew Gillum never talks about being a black male. Because everybody can relate to being impoverished. You know, most people can. Not the 1%, but most people can. But everybody can't relate to being a black man. It's literally impossible. You know, when Barack Obama ran his, I mean, we can say what we want to about him because, you know, it is what it is. He was a bad president. But he ran an extraordinary and revolutionary campaign while Hillary's talking about, I'm going to be the first woman president. All Barack Obama was saying is, I just want to be president and I don't want to be a Republican. We talked about the fact that he was black. We talked about the fact that his father was from Kenya. We talked about the fact that it's amazing that someone named Barack Obama can actually win the presidency. But Barack Obama never mentioned the fact that he was black one single time. Why? Because can you relate to somebody who's from Kenya? No. Can you relate to a black male from Chicago or from Illinois? No. But you can relate to him being a Democrat. You can relate to him saying he wanted to pull the troops out of Iraq and Afghanistan. You can relate to him claiming that he wanted Medicare for all. You can relate to, I mean, he even had a push like this, kind of like this super Christian home or nuclear family thing that he had going on. You can relate to those things. But psychologically, every time you try and other yourself, you will unintentionally marginalize others. So when you play identity politics, do you want to know why it doesn't work for the left? Because there's way less of us as far as with unique identities or minority identities than there are of just everyday, easygoing, middle-class white people. There are more white women in the country than there are white males, right? But you're gonna have to literally win over and assume, by the way, that they would vote for you. You have to assume that all 58% of the white Democratic establishment, because that's like not even though it may be 50%, 58% registered as Democrats. This is Florida where it's a close primary, so you may really be off because 25 to 30% of them could be progressive women who remember exactly what happened in 2016. So you would have to hope that literally every single woman voted for you, and then almost all to even half of the men were not marginalized by your rhetoric saying that I should be voted for because I'm not a man. You get what I'm saying? It's just basic cycle. Like it's unintentionally offend many males, because there is a lot of male fragility out there. Like I'm not naive to that, but I wouldn't want some white guy standing up and saying you should vote for me because I'm white, or more specifically, because this is what it sounds like, you should vote for me because I'm not black. You hear how that sounds? Or even if we go for the most common denominator, the most common factor amongst people, which is Democrat, Republican, Independent, how often has anybody listening to this show right now voted for somebody because, oh, you should vote for me because I'm not Republican. You should vote for me because I'm not a Democrat. How hard do you think it is to bring Republicans and conservative-leaning independents in to vote for someone who is just othering everybody else who doesn't, quote-unquote, look like them or think like them 100% of the time on the issues? You have to win by being inclusive, not exclusive. Identity politics does not work for the left. It never will. Ocasio-Cortez did not win because she was a Puerto Rican from the Bronx, and she's a woman. She just happened to be a Puerto Rican from the Bronx and a woman. She didn't run on being 28, 29 years old. She just happened to be that age. She didn't run on used to be, she used to be Green Party. She ran on the issues that afflicted the most people, that she knew afflicted the most people, because she was in the streets talking to people and knocking on doors. So the identity politics game just simply is not going to work anymore. Not anymore. It only works with conservatives. Because, being black, being white, being a woman, being a man, that ain't gonna pay my medical bills. None of those demographics. I don't get a voucher saying, hey, bro, you're a woman, or hey, man, or hey, lady, you're a woman. Here's a voucher for your medical bills because we have a woman in office now. Hey, man, you're black. Here's a voucher for your medical bills. You can get some tuition to college. That'd be nice, yeah. But, they don't help all that much. They don't help you get a job afterwards. It doesn't help you pay off the tuition, the rest of the tuition that you have to pay for. Being a specific demographic or minority running for office, just because you look like me doesn't mean that the job that is going to get done. Like the job that I need to get done. It's like what Bernie Sanders showed. Bernie Sanders talked a lot about the issues, and he talked about the issues that affect everybody. And he did talk about, it makes it more powerful if Andrew Gillum is a black man, but he makes it a point to make sure that he understands that women do need better representation in the work in the work environment, and that we should be more cognizant of the disparate pay between men and women. Like, that's inclusivity. He's saying, optically, I know I'm a black man, but I do see your issues. When you speak to about the algae situation and the environment, and that part of Florida is more conservative, by the way, than the West Coast or than the east side of Florida. Then he's optically, I am a black man, but I care about your livelihood, even if we don't agree on everything politically. So the identity politics, this should be the nail in the coffin on identity politics. It should be the nail in the coffin, because Gwen Graham, for all intents and purposes, according to the polls, but according to her, she had more of a national stage than Andrew Gillum did going in. But Andrew Gillum never mentioned one single time that I know of, from the couple of times that I've seen him speak, and from the things that I've read about him, he's never mentioned the fact that he was black. He didn't have to. It's obvious, but that should not necessarily matter when it comes to the issues and when it comes to your record. People don't care anymore about how you look. That's where we want to be at. We can be excited that Andrew Gillum potentially may be the first black governor, but that means zero until we see the job he does. And it means zero when we're comparing records. Whenever I hold up the two records, I'm not like, Okay, public, single payer healthcare, public option, check. Environment, check. Woman, check. Black man, check. Below 5'1", check. Above 6'2". Like, that's not being thought about when we're looking at the issues anymore. I want to know where they stand at on the issues, and so does everybody else now. And Andrew Gillum polling at 10%, polling at 13% just several days ago prove that. Don't talk about it, be about it. And that's going to be it for today's episode. Definitely want you all to subscribe if this is your first time watching. We definitely have a bunch of good stuff coming up. Huge issues within the Vatican, the Catholic Church, with child sex abuse that I'm going to be covering tomorrow. Waiting for some. Didn't want to cover it right out the gate. I'm waiting for some more information to drop on it. But yeah, it's getting crazy. So, like, subscribe, comment below. But more than anything else, always remember, people, find your balance. See you on justinforum.com. Peace.